Welcome to episode 18 of ProdPod, the podcast of productivity lessons in 2 minutes or less. I'm Sidney-Smith, your productivity guide. A someday maybe list, according to David Allen's Getting Things Done, or GTD methodology, is for any goal, project, or next action that you're not committed to achieving or doing right now. Many people have struggled to separate what goes on their someday maybe lists from their actions and projects lists, so I thought in this episode I'd describe my someday maybe process in my life, in hopes that it helps others. I distinguish between some days and maybes. Some days I will do. Maybes, maybe not. For some days, I always put parenthetically after the description, resources needed and or wanted, which asks the question, what would I need or want to happen that would trigger me to do this someday item right now? For me, this makes someday items realistic and available for when that quote-unquote missing link becomes available, whether that's time, money, emotional energy to invest, credentials, a new delegatee, a call from my mother, or so on. So in practical terms, I use two context lists to manage the various someday maybes in my life and work. This puts an intrinsic greater importance on some days than on maybes, so I typically review some days every week during my weekly review, whereas my maybes are items that I plan to review at least quarterly, but most of the time I come across the list monthly when I find the mental, emotional energy and time to think about my maybes list. By its nature, maybes end up being somewhat of a wish list of things I'd like to accomplish but haven't yet figured out how to. But with a little creativity I can make them a someday, or perhaps even an actual project or next action. This is just one modification of my GTD system, and it benefits me by allowing me to move stuff to definable goals without cluttering my active projects or next actions lists with yet to be productive items. I hope you enjoyed this episode of ProdPod. This is Sidney-Smith, and thanks for listening. Here's to your productivity success in 2 minutes or less.